Hi everyone, I'm Dan Schrack,
I'm Erin Lanahan,
and this
and this
is
is
Journey
Journey
Journals.
Journals.
Erin and I are friends that met working together at a TV station, and we love to travel.
We also talked about doing a podcast before I moved away, and the two things came together.
We chatted with some of the who's who in the YouTube travel community about their passion for adventure. I wanted to find out what makes them go, what the life, job, and business was like.
For me, travel is about the experience. I love being able to try new things, talk to new people, and most importantly, eat new food.
In this first episode, we chat about really everything, just two people with a passion for living. Enjoy. So let's start.
Yeah, did you have a plan for this, or were you just gonna fire
Nope,
away?
I think this is the plan. I think this is how we do it. We play it like
What?
Seinfeld. It's a podcast about nothing but kind of travel at the same
A
time.
podcast about nothing, but also it's definitely about travel.
No, yeah. I asked way too much about algorithms going through this.
I know. I was like,
And that's your department.
literally, I'm just like, New York City's pretty cool.
So I figured we could start by talking maybe a little bit about why we started this, how we started this.
That's a good place
You
to
want to
start.
lead that off? Because
Um,
I feel like you bear most of the responsibility here.
oh, please. Absolutely not. I'd say it's even for both of us. Please don't put
Okay.
that on me. I'll have a panic attack. Don't do that. But where should I start? I was fascinated with visiting Ireland growing up when I learned about my heritage. So the first thing I did when I got to college,
Lanahan.
yeah, I know, right? Shocker. And so the first thing I did when I got to college was find a study abroad program that would put me somewhere in the country of Ireland. I didn't really care where, I just wanted to be there. So, my sophomore year, I studied at the National University of Ireland, Maynooth, for a semester. I was there from September to December, and I loved it. I went across the whole country, and I even went to other parts of the UK and Germany and Amsterdam. And then I loved being able to travel every weekend. That I kind of kept it going when I got back to the States. And since then, I've just loved being able to travel to different places and looking for different deals, different fun things to do, whether I'm going to a brand new place or visiting friends. It's just fun being able to, go to new experiences and meet new people and try new things. And so when Daniel here asked me to do a podcast with him about travel, I was like, oh, this is like one thing I actually do like to talk about, which my friends might make fun of me for because they're always like, oh, did you know Erin studied abroad? I'm like, I don't bring it up that much.
No, listen, I think it's very a very good quality to have been cultured like that, to have seen
Oh,
other
absolutely.
places. And
Yeah,
I listen, I think you're lucky. I started way too late
absolutely.
in this game.
No, no
Absolutely,
sweat.
you started way too.
I don't think there's any way you could be too late to the game.
True, true. Um, I think the whole point of this is to potentially inspire people to go and see other cultures,
See the world.
experience other cultures. Yeah, if there's a
Yeah.
place you've always wanted to go,
What
figure out a way to
inspired you
go.
to get out of your little bubble that you put yourself in?
You did. You did. I mean, you talked to, okay, so Erin and I, for those who don't know, Erin and I worked together for what, two
It was
years?
like 2.5.
2.5 years? Okay.
Yeah.
And you talked about travel quite a bit. Where
Yeah,
you were going
because
next week, what you were doing, where you had been.
so obviously when we started working together, it was during the pandemic. So there was like
Mhm.
no travel happening really. The most travel was
Yes.
me driving home to New Jersey to see my family.
That's right, because you didn't even graduate properly, right?
No, yeah, I
until
didn't have
2
my
years later.
graduation until I got to walk the
Yeah.
stage 2 years later. Um, but yeah, and then once things got better with the pandemic, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm ready to get back out there. So it was a little bit of like every other weekend, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going here, there, everywhere.
But you did constantly, and there was it was a weekend. I think it was a Sunday. It
Mm,
was right before the 6 p.m.
mhm.
And that's when I pulled the trigger after having
Yeah.
sat next to you for so long. And
You're
I
like, I'm
booked the
doing it.
trip. Yep,
Yeah,
just did it.
loved it.
Just did it. Yes, very much so. Absolutely fell in love with it. I think solo travel is underrated,
Absolutely.
but phenomenal at the same time. You've got a vacation coming up, don't you?
Yes, I'm
Who are you
heading
going
to
with?
Amsterdam with 2 of my friends, and actually, what's today's date? Like less than 2 weeks.
The 30th.
Yeah, I do need to start organizing some
Getting
things, but
prepared.
yeah, double check
How
my
long are you there
passport this
for?
year. It's like a long weekend. We're there for like 5 days.
Oh, oh, shut
I know.
up. I'm just
Dude,
jealous of
I'm
that.
trying to get content for us. This is a
I
work
am
trip.
just
I'm writing it off.
oh my god, the dream, the dream.
Yeah.
I'm just jealous of that lifestyle. So I'm on vacation this week. This is my vacation. I figured
Good for
I guess I'm
you.
gonna be
A
spent
staycation.
yep, editing the editing all of this together and
Love it.
pretending to know what I'm doing and
Yeah.
figuring this out. Um, so some podcast deep dives are definitely on
Mhm.
the schedule for this upcoming week. But yeah, I am hoping to go somewhere in the early spring with my father. We have been toying with the idea of somewhere in Asia, maybe. I kind of want to go back to Europe because there's a show there in January, February, March that I would really like to see. But at the same time, I also think, okay, you've been there, go see something else for a
Yeah.
second
Yeah.
and explore another place. So that's the plan. Yeah, I
There's a
figure
lot of
I'd do
places out there.
the responsible thing and potentially maybe save a little bit for the vacation.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
something I personally have been struggling with lately. Is that I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna save this month, and then a friend or I see something pop up, and they're like, "Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yep, here's my card."
Yep. I know. I know. That's how it goes. That's and
Hmm.
then it comes to and here I am still eating
Eating your
grapes.
grapes.
Yep. That's how it
Yep.
goes.
Hmm.
What can you do? Um, you're not
Take your
supposed to
time.
speak with your mouth full. You're also
No.
probably not supposed to
Not
be
supposed to
eating
eat on a pod, but okay.
mid-conversation.
Enjoy the free
Um
ASMR, I guess.
That is one of my least favorite things on the internet. I can't
You go.
stand that. People tapping their nails on oh no.
Yeah.
No, not a fan of that. In any event, yeah, so that's my staycation plan for this
Love it.
week, but I thought it would be appropriate to work on a piece of travel artwork, if you will. And
Wow.
get
It's
this
high
ready.
praise.
Yeah, so listen, you got to polish it.
Oh,
Got to
goodness.
do it. Got to do it. Yeah, so we did this and we wound up with, I believe, 6 episodes, a handful of episodes, maybe.
Yeah. We got to talk to some pretty cool people.
Yeah. These are, a lot of, I guess, big names in the YouTube industry. I didn't mean it. I don't. What are you laughing at? I don't mean it like
Dan,
that.
I love you, but sometimes you say things, I'm like, oh, you sound so old.
I mean, you can
Big
just say
names in
it.
the YouTube industry.
The impression of me is on point. On point.
I've had
Um,
a lot of time to work on my Dan streak.
oh Lord, get that little creep off my television. Was there anything
I'll
that
stick
you wanted removed from this podcast?
everything. Everything I contributed. No, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. This is
Oh Lord.
probably something we should say for after the recording. We're 15 minutes in and we're already so over it. We're like, should we cut all of this?
Oh, okay. So let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get down to reality here. One of the things that I found difficult about this entire process was the entire process. There's so, there's so much more work. There's so much more work than just sitting here and talking for 40 minutes.
Dude, that's why I was hoping you'd have
more work.
I thought you'd be like a journalist and have questions ready to go. I guess not.
No, I wanted just conversation. I thought that would be fun. But then there's like the whole communication behind it, setting it up, doing 3 of these in one day is silly.
Not it.
Especially when it's not your full-time job and you have to tack it on
and I'm not getting paid.
Everyday life. I know. It's a lot of work. It is.
Yeah.
It's just time consuming.
But we do it because we care.
Because we care. And we're glad you're listening.
Yeah. All right. When you're taking a long flight, do you watch a movie? Are you listening to music? Do you just knock out? What's your routine?
So I struggle to sleep on a plane. Yeah. Even last trip I took, I had the entire row to myself, but I thought it would be inappropriate if I tried to stretch out on that.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
I've done that the few times I've gone.
Everyone else on the plane did, and I was told after the fact it's totally acceptable. I just thought it was a little too casual for my liking. Because I'm
so sorry.
I'm an old curmudgeon. I don't know. No.
Mr. Dan Schrack of 13 Wham doesn't want to be known as laying across the aisle.
Listen, I'm sitting in economy, okay? I'm not up in business or first. So struggled to sleep on the plane. I'm gonna say something kind of controversial here. Ready? I kind of like chatting with the people next to me. Here's the thing.
You've said that so many times that you're like, this person that's talking to me on the plane. I'm like, I don't talk to people on flights.
No,
maybe it's my resting bitch face, but nobody wants to talk to me.
They're all a little afraid. They're all a little scared,
as they should be.
No, I think it's a great opportunity to get to know somebody else, to hear somebody else's story or a piece of their story. I enjoy that. Movies, though, I would say are probably the good go-to.
When I take flights, I either try to take them really early in the morning, so I have the whole day when I get there, or they're late at night. So, like, for instance, when I went to Ireland in January with my brother, that flight was delayed like 2 hours, so I was sitting in JFK forever. And by the time we got on the plane, it was like 11 p.m. And I was like, I just need to knock out. Like, I don't need to watch anything because I knew the next day I was gonna have like so much going on. So I was like, we're gonna try to sleep as much as possible, and I did for the most part. So,
are you a window, aisle, or middle seat?
I like the window because I can put my head up against the wall and sleep. If you like the middle seat, you're actually insane. Like, you should be on a list because that's odd behavior. You want to be squished. You squish between people. That's odd. Sorry. Maybe it's just who I am. I don't want to touch a stranger. The few times, like, I also hate too, because like when I book like budget flights, it's usually I don't get a seat selection when you do that. So that's when I know I'm like, I'm probably gonna end up with a middle seat because nobody chooses those. And absolutely blows my mind how I'm like, okay, I'm in the middle seat, I get the armrests, like, because you have the wall and you have the aisle.
that order.
Bro, this one guy, I sat down and we're go through takeoff, and he just asserts his dominance on my armrest, and I was like, I'm like, don't touch me. It's like they're in my area.
Yeah.
I didn't like
Those
it.
you paid for those armrests.
Exactly. I made the sacrifice of taking the middle seat, so I should get the armrests.
I don't know if you made the sacrifice.
I made the sacrifice.
You bought your way into a middle seat, I think.
But then
you flew
I
budget.
do like I do like
I have nothing against budget. I have a middle
No,
seat.
I know. It's just so funny. You're like, well, you flew budget.
Well, it's true.
Listen, I never said I was.
You can't expect first class service from Southwest or Vueling, you know? Yeah, not gonna happen.
And then I like the aisle seat too, because then I can get up whenever I want. Because as much as I love the window seat, I hate when like I have to use the bathroom and I'm like, sorry, can I just get my and you have to do awkward like so sorry. And I'm like, I just don't like being.
Oh, see, I don't apologize.
Well, sometimes they're like sleeping or something, and I'm like, I'm gonna piss my pants if I don't get up right now. So I'm like,
I just wake them up.
Yeah, I still do too, but I'm still like, sorry, can I get through?
No, excuse me.
Full steam ahead.
Yeah,
like, get out of my way. Do you know who I am?
No, but I a nice tap, and you say, "Excuse me, I need to stand up for a moment." I'm not sorry.
I go
that I have to stand up. No, I gotta pee.
Right.
Or we can collectively sit in a puddle here if you'd like. It's your pick. I'm gonna be put on the do not fly list after we release this.
Oh shit. Oh my god. You know what I watched the other day too? So you're about to close your eyes.
You loosen the laces. So you untie them and you loosen the laces from the bottom of the tongue to the top of the tongue of the shoes.
Interesting.
Boom. Great.
That's a good hack.
Shoes remain on. They're not tight. Great comfort.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I just wear comfy shoes. No.
Oh, okay. Then
I get grossed out.
I've seen people just in socks. And then they get up and they move about.
And then they walk around in their socks. I'm like, that's disgusting. I'm like, everybody
bathrooms in their socks.
That's so gross.
Yeah, I was a little disgusted.
So gross.
I said
let's all
recently.
If our listeners take anything away from this podcast, it's be better human beings when you're traveling.
Yes.
Don't be gross.
100%. Remember, you are in public.
Yeah.
Other people can see you.
Yeah, you don't want to end up on Barstool. You don't want to end up in the headlines. Just be a decent human being.
Well, I wouldn't mind ending up on Barstool.
God, nobody's going to listen to this.
I know.
Oh my God. Yeah, you can cut around all that, right? This is going to be your most difficult podcast to edit. Because it's so easy to be like, oh, we'll just interview somebody and they'll be the main focus. Now that we're the main focus, we're like, nope.
Difficult.
Cut it.
Difficult.
Cut it all.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What else do we want to talk about here?
So, like I was saying, during the pandemic, most of the traveling I did was to New Jersey. And then as things lightened up, I started going more around New York State. So I loved going to the Adirondacks. And
you spent a lot of time there.
Oh, it's my happy place. I love that place, that park. What about you, Dan? Is there a favorite place within New York State that when you're like, got to break it up? I guess New York City, you could count that too. I love the city.
The city's great.
Yeah.
I also don't mind just the different. New York State is great in that there is a lot of space. It's much larger than people think it is because I think the vast majority of the population thinks New York. You automatically go to New York City.
New York City.
And there's nothing else. But there is so much open, amazing space and nature that we have here. In the Northeast,
especially this time of year too, with all the leaves changing.
Really, yeah, heading toward peak fall. I don't know that I would say that there's one particular place. I like all of the different aspects of it. I like that if you do want big city, we've got it. If
Oh
you do
yeah.
like that open space, we've got
It's
it.
also a short drive away. Like if you want
Yeah.
to like get out of the city and touch some grass. It is like a
Honestly.
train ride or drive away. So
Or a cheap flight to get away
mhm.
from the farm and
Mhm. Back to civilization.
yeah. Back to civilization.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I that's one of the that's probably the reason I listen, I love my family, but that's probably the reason I tolerate New York State winters.
because you can get out.
No, because you can get out and see it during the summer. So it's
Oh,
nice during the summer.
it's gonna be like because you
You
can leave.
you just have to pay for it 9 months out of the year by being miserable.
Yeah, yeah.
Although we're entering a second summer right
I
now.
know. Yeah, we're
What is it
it's
like
supposed to
down
get really
there?
warm. I
Temps.
mean, it's been pretty chilly this week. It's definitely more like fall weather, which is nice because I'm like, oh, I could get my fall fits out.
Ooh.
But then it's like, oh, just kidding. It's gonna be 80 degrees this week, and I'm like, up,
Mhm.
all right, put them back in the closet for now. Um,
Yep.
but that's one of the things I think that stresses me out the most when I travel is because I like don't check bags when I fly because I
Yep.
that stresses me out where I'm like, I don't want them
It's
to
got
lose my
disaster.
luggage.
It's one more
Yeah,
thing that
unless I
can go wrong.
absolutely to like when I studied abroad, obviously, like I checked a huge bag with all my clothes in it and everything else that I needed. But the weekend trips I always just have a carry on. But then
Mhm.
I'm such an overpacker where I'm like trying to think through even if like where I'm going, whether it's to see family or friends, they could send me a detailed itinerary of everything I'm gonna be doing with the
You're
dress
bringing
code.
extra.
And I still would be like, well, just in case, like, what if we go here?
Mhm.
Like, I need to have this. So that's what I'm like hoping the next 2 weeks or so. I mean, I have to check the weather in Amsterdam too, but I hope it's not too up and down because I don't want to have to worry about like packing like
Packing that
rain boots
much.
and all the other stuff that you could think that would fit in a suitcase.
So my suggestion would be any of those emergency outfits, buy them at the place to save yourself the
Oh
headache.
yeah. Yeah.
Save
That's
yourself
something
if you
I
need
need to
rain boots when you're over there, buy rain
yeah.
boots when you're over there.
That's a good tip. I like that. I never
What do you do for money when you travel? If you're traveling somewhere where currency exchange, how do you handle that?
So I have a
Um,
burner account where I sell feet pics and I only take euros. So
you have
no.
to stop this early morning drinking.
Oh no. My headphones pulled my laptop.
And
Um
we are keeping that in.
no, I mean, I think I don't do enough research about exchange rates and all that, but what I do
Mhm.
know is that I never go to the booths at the airport that are like will give you cash for your cash because those fees that they tack on, it's kind of like a loss when you are exchanging your money.
Mhm.
So and it's probably still like I'm not a huge math person, but if you wanted to break down the numbers, I'm sure it'd be similar. But I usually just go to an ATM when I'm in the country and just take that. I mean, depending on the card you have or the bank you have, you might not have any foreign transaction fees.
Yeah.
But I usually just take that hit because it's usually like 1 or 2%. Um, and I'll just get my money that way. And but also, I feel like especially because I've really only traveled in Europe, so I can only speak to that. And
Mhm.
most of the countries I've been to there, they all have tap to pay. So I usually just stick to my credit card.
That should be just a worldwide thing.
Yeah. So
I
I can't
That's the
speak of
most
I mean
convenient thing.
I assume it is worldwide, but because I have not been everywhere, but it's on my list. that's why I can only speak to my experience in Europe. Also, I feel like the US just recently got on Tap to Pay. I feel like when I studied abroad in 2017, Ireland already had it.
Oh
And I
yeah,
was
we were
like,
way
this is
behind with
amazing.
that. We
Yeah.
were way behind with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. We were going in the direction of doing the chip read as opposed to
Yeah. Yeah.
tap
Yeah.
when that all started to come through.
Hmm.
And it kind of felt like we were late to the game out of the gate with that. Yeah, no, I think just waving your phone is the easiest thing there
Yeah.
is to do.
Apple Pay and
Um, yep.
all that.
And quite honestly, then I'm not dealing with paper money or any sort of currency
Yeah.
like that unless I
And I
absolutely
mean,
have to.
I still try to get like a few euros or cash, whatever you want to call it, when I go somewhere, because just
Some
in case you
monies.
need it. Yeah. Some
Hmm.
coins. Um, but yeah, no, I feel like I
Some
rely.
Benjamins.
I don't think they have those outside of the US.
I don't think they do either.
But and then even when I'm traveling in the US too, I try to keep like a little bit of cash on me, but I still mainly am using my credit card.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Well, wait then.
Chi or whatever. Oh, do you have
Most
something to say?
yeah, most memorable
Most
meal.
memorable meal? Um, recently, I
Sure.
still dream about the barbecue I had in Austin, Texas. It was so good that like I'm like, well, maybe I should just go back. Like I should just plan another trip to visit my friend because that
Legitimately
was
just for the barbecue.
yeah, it was so good. It was like
That's
falling off
fair.
the Listen, I know you're vegan. I know you're not gonna relate to this, but it was like falling off the bone. It was so it was
I was
so good.
I was going to make a comment on barbecue sauce because I did find a Kansas City sauce that I have fallen in love with and
Oh,
now make
okay.
now make a substantial amount of tofu with. Um
So wrong.
what was
Oh my god.
what was the name of the restaurant? Do you remember?
I think it was like La Barbecue or something.
Oh, okay.
I think
Very
I took a
creative.
picture of the sign. It was really good. And then it was funny too because we were like, I guess one of the last tables there, and all of a sudden the music shift from like, I don't know, like alternative, indie, rock, whatever, to like
Uh-huh.
screamo, like heavy metal. Like the kitchen to like clean up and everything. And we're like, shoot, is that our cue to leave? Like
Yes, it's a pleasant way of saying it's time to
yeah.
go.
Yeah. They're like,
Time to
this is
go.
our time. It's our music time.
So when
Um,
sorry.
no, I was just filling the silence.
Oh, okay. So when I went to Italy, I don't know if I told you this. There was a vegan restaurant that I mean I really wanted to go to, as in I discovered it 2 hours before on my phone
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
said that's where I'm going for dinner. Um, Never thought to make a reservation, although you could on the website, because I
Yeah.
thought to myself, who's going to eat in an Italian vegan restaurant? And I arrived, and there was probably 15 people in line ahead of me to be seated at a table. I was told I had like 25 minutes to eat, and I ordered 3 main courses.
Dang.
It
You're
was
like, all right,
amazing.
I'm making use of this 25 minutes.
I did, and finally, when they realized, oh, like I guess he just wants to really eat all of our food that we have here tonight, they moved me to another table,
Hmm.
where I got to spend more time.
Okay. Well, that's
That
nice.
was a really really
That's
good meal, though.
pleasant.
Yes,
Yeah,
um,
no, I've heard very good things about Italy. I
really
want to
great
go.
salad that I had in France.
Salad.
Yep. I think it
Eat
might have been my
rabbit's
last
food.
full day there. Beyond rabbit's food, it was like a rabbit's dream. It was a really good salad. Um, oh, when I was in Dublin, I went to that Michelin star restaurant, Glass.
Oh,
That
okay.
was
Pop
that was
off.
really cool. Yeah, I went on Easter Sunday. Um, it was
Oh, the Lord's.
delicious.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yes,
I forgot you
yes,
were there for Easter.
The Lord has risen,
What a place
and
to be.
so did my taste buds. I don't know what that means. Um, That was
It's
really
also
good though.
it's so funny when we talk about our travel experiences because I definitely go more towards the budget side of things. And I mean, not that that's like a bad thing, but it's funny because you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I went to this Michelin star restaurant," and I'm like, "Oh, I got a slice of pizza."
Okay, no, like it's far from that. Far from that. Okay, you know that. I think I paid $75 for 4 or 5 courses and drinks for myself.
If I don't eat lunch, I can have a big dinner. Don't listen to that tip. That's not a tip. That's not
Every,
healthy. Make
everyone
sure
is
you
gonna
eat
think
when you
I'm super
travel.
bougie now.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, "Wow, Erin's so down to earth. How does she put
Yeah,
up with Dan?"
honestly, I want to listen to her solo podcast.
Nobody wants to listen to that. Nobody needs to hear that.
um,
My friends, they were in Italy this summer and they were like they came back. They like did a cooking class. They went to all these restaurants, but they were like the best meal we had was at a McDonald's.
really,
I forget what they ordered, but it was something that's not available here or just different.
yeah.
And they were like, it was so good. Like, I wish we had it in the States. I'm like, that's so funny. You were like on the Amalfi Coast with like the most fresh seafood and everything, but it was the McDonald's that won.
Well, see, and I think a lot of it, honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with the experience
Oh
too.
yeah. Yeah.
It's so not just the taste or the price or any of that around the food. It's
Hmm.
where you're consuming that food, the emotions you're feeling, and the view that you
Yeah.
have.
I think
Which I think is
also
incredible.
like get out of your comfort zone and try food, but also know your limits. Like if you don't like spicy food, don't order the hot chicken curry. Like,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
don't try
So
to
you use your noggin.
yeah, like don't be an idiot, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
um I'm trying to
Don't
think.
take unnecessary risks. Don't go swimming in the sea.
Oh my god. Good meme. Good meme.
It is, isn't it?
I'm trying to think. There was something else. Oh, I was gonna say beyond food, it is fun to like do something new that you probably wouldn't do at home. For instance,
Take
when
risks.
yes, even though we just said don't take risks, that was more directed towards the food. But take
Yes.
safe risks. Like when I studied abroad, I of course was doing so much research about places to go in Ireland, like cool things to see that might be more off the beaten path. And that's how I
Hmm.
found out Ireland's best kept secret is their beaches. And a lot of people like to surf off the west coast.
Oh,
And so I was like, before I leave Ireland, I want to learn how to surf here.
did you
And
do that?
so I was running out of time. It was like the beginning of December, and I was like, "Oh, I go home in 2 weeks." Like, and I still haven't gone surfing. And I was like, "All right, I guess I'm going surfing in
Got to do
December in
it.
Ireland." So I went to Strandhill Beach and I like by myself. I think I asked some of my friends and they were either doing their own trips or they had other stuff going on. But I was like, I have to do this. Like I told everybody back home that I was gonna do this. So I need to at least try. So I took a train from Maynooth to Sligo. That was like 3 hours. I got up at like the crack of dawn.
All
And
to go
then
surfing.
yeah, and then I took a bus from Sligo to Strandhill Beach and I met like the instructors on the beach. And I wasn't the only person crazy enough to go surfing in December. There was a bunch of other people there too. I think we were all beginners for the most part. And the waves were small. Like it wasn't anything crazy, but it was still really fun to just be like, screw it. I'm just gonna go try this new thing and see how it goes. And it was a lot of fun. And I haven't been surfing since, but I would love to do it again.
No, but it's the experience. When I
Yeah.
was there, I wanted to go to I'm not going to remember the name of the place or the television show that the place was in for even reference. It was a show on Apple TV. I told you to watch it. It's about
Bad Sisters.
Bad Sisters. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I
so
still haven't watched it.
you're missing out. You're genuinely missing out. So in Bad Sisters, they go swimming at this. I don't know. It's like a. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, it's like the baths or something in Dublin, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Wanted
I'll
to
look.
do
You
it.
keep talking. I'll look it up.
Didn't do it, and really disappointed. However, while I was in Ireland, I did ride a bike, which is
Oh,
not an achievement, but is I don't own a bike, so I did something new. I
it
rode a
was a
bike.
sandy cove in Dublin. Called
Is that a
the
place?
40-foot.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They went there, I think in the beginning of the series, I think they went there on like Christmas Day or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they went throughout the year to
Mm-hmm.
go swimming there on weekends. It was really interesting, kind of unique, I guess, because that's I mean, have you ever seen someone swim in the Hudson in December?
I don't know. I don't think I've been.
I don't
I
think
guess
there's a lot of
I'll
people
have to be
that
more
do that.
observant this winter to see if there's any polar plunges people are taking.
That's
Yeah.
something I
No.
would like to do, the actual polar plunge.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say swim in the Hudson. I was gonna be like, okay.
Oh, no. I
It's like,
feel
all right,
well,
have fun with
here's
your
the
third
thing.
eye.
That's exactly it. Swimming in the Hudson is like going down into the subways in Lower Manhattan right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm not getting in
Yeah.
that water. That's disgusting.
No, it's funny you said that. Don't go swimming in the ocean meme because somebody posted that audio with like shots of the city underwater and then a shot that somebody was swimming. I think it was the East River, but same thing.
Yes, and someone was kayaking right next to
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I'm
did
like, you're
see that.
actually nuts.
Did see that. Yeah,
Just
no,
makes you
thank
think
you.
of Kramer.
Honestly, stinking up that mattress
Yeah.
that was gifted to Elaine. Yeah.
Oh my
I
goodness.
still watch that show every night to fall asleep.
Speaking of TV, that's another fun thing too. That it's like nerdy of me, but when
When you
I
go
do
abroad.
travel, yeah, I like flipping through the channels and seeing
Mhm.
like what their media is like. Even I mean, this might be more for me because I study journalism, but even like when I travel in the States, I'll like watching the local newscast just to see learn about what's going on, the current events of the new spot that I'm in. So
Well, and some of the I don't know, pop culture, zeitgeisty kind of terminology and shows over there are, and by over there I mean Europe. Interesting, interesting. Like I think the idea of Gogglebox, I think that would be a great show. I think that would do well here in the U.S. Taskmaster, have you ever seen that?
I do know that one.
I think that would do great in the US.
That's one thing I like about TikTok is that I am slowly learning about like other. It's like the stupidest thing because it's such a time suck, and I keep telling myself to delete it, but then it will actually show me like cool videos of like different funny shows that aren't in the United States and all that, and I'm like, all right, I'll keep scrolling. All right, you
know, and
hooked me.
you have unlimited resources and I don't know, 6 months. Where do you want to go? What do you want to see in that period of time?
If I have unlimited resources and 6 months, I assume you mean no work, no obligations
Correct.
or anything. I
Correct.
would probably go to Australia because I really, really want to go, but the flight is just so intimidating to me that it's almost like 24 hours of flying. So I know because I will I will visit there one day. And I know when I do, I want it to be for an extended period of time, at least 2 weeks or something like that. So I think if I had 6 months, I would probably go to Australia and then hop around to New Zealand and probably like Thailand and was that Eastern Asia? Yeah. And check out some of the countries over there. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, I think that's probably That would be like my dream trip.
Yeah.
When I make my millions one day.
That's where you're going.
That'll be my first, yeah.
I think that's probably it for me too. I want to see the other side of the world because I mean, people keep on talking about it, and I'm not 100% convinced.
You don't know if it's there.
Exist. Yeah. Well, it was kind of like Europe for all those years. People talked about it, and I was like, I don't know. I haven't seen it myself. If a tree falls in the forest, we don't know.
A lot of different cultures that I still want to experience.
Yeah.
So
I think it. Are you a big souvenir person?
Oh, this is when I went to Liverpool to see the Beatles. I went to a little Beatles experience. Germany. This was Berlin. Across the country. Is this what the people tuned in for?
I'm just now realizing we're like showing them picture pages here.
It's from Cape Cod. All that to say, those are my souvenirs when I go places.
We can't even bother to pull those pictures up full screen for people.
All that to say, I like my postcards.
I don't particularly care about the stuff.
Yeah,
I've saved, and it sounds more like crazy person than tourist or traveler, but I save my receipts.
That's hoarding. That's not what you think it is.
Stand by.
Welcome to Show and Tell. Yeah. This is a portion of the podcast where we just show you things and we hope you can see them.
Yep. We're gonna do it. Yeah, no, like I saved receipts and some I've you can see I went and I bought things in places and I'm dropping them.
The cleanest part of his apartment. Behind it, it's all receipts.
All receipts. Oh,
no, I get that. I know people will save like train tickets and stuff like that.
I have this from my first trip to England. Very nice gentleman named Anthony Rotundo from Pennsylvania gave me the magazine he was reading. Husband and wife, I believe they were both teachers, or maybe it was just he that was a teacher. Educated for a long period of time. I think he was an English teacher. Really, really nice people. And we chatted for, I would say, 3/4 of the flight. Again, fun getting to know people.
It is fun.
And he gave me that magazine, and I thought, that's kind of neat.
You know what? I think for you like to talk to people on flights. I like to talk to people over a pint. I like the bar. Maybe I'm more approachable in a bar. I don't know, because I like want to sleep on a flight. So I think that's why
I think you're more approachable once you've had a few drinks.
Come on. I'm approachable always. But no. It is, but I also, at least like, not to, I swear I've been to a lot of places. I just really like Ireland. But a lot of the pubs I would go to there, they usually have someone playing live music. So that's always a lot of fun too.
That is a lot of fun. That was one of the first things I saw when I went to Ireland. I walked into a bar right near my hotel and it's 2:00 in the afternoon and people are dancing and singing. And I thought, this is kind of fun.
This is a life, like Amy McDonald said. I will say it is a bit intimidating to have a travel podcast, because I feel like when we talk to so many of these like experts and people who do this for a living, and they're like, yeah, like I fly 3 times a week, like, or I go to like X amount of countries every year, and I'm like, oh, I don't do that. So like there's a little bit of imposter syndrome where I'm like, oh, do I do this? Like, is this okay. But then I have to realize I'm like, well, I'm also comparing myself to like the most extreme cases. Like,
Yeah, that's literally their job to do
yeah,
that.
like it's
This is
very much, I want people to know that I very much enjoy traveling, but I still 90% of my day is literally me sitting at this desk and working. Like
working.
as I very much Instagram is very much a highlight of everybody's lives. So it's like so easy to get caught up in those things. So for
Mhm.
people who have like maybe they've never left their hometown, I don't know, and so they might look at your Instagram or mine or whatever and be like, "Oh, they must like travel all the time." It's like, it's not as glamorous as it looks.
Well, and I kind of discovered that via you because you do a very good job of curating your social media posts.
Mhm.
You'll go to a place, you'll take, I don't know how many pictures
A
and
few,
videos you take.
yeah.
How many?
Like a few. Usually, like if I was more of a professional, I'd probably have a plan set. But
Hmm.
late as of late, yeah, sure.
No,
Um,
that's right.
I was gonna say as of lately, but that didn't sound right.
Nope, that one's wrong.
But I'll usually because I mentioned it before. I love photography. It's always been one of my favorite things to do. So I'll just like capture different scenes I see when I'm out. I don't really have something in mind, but like if there's a sunset, I love sunsets. I'll take a few shots of that. Or like if I see a building and it looks pretty and like aesthetically pleasing, I'll just take a shot of that.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like passing. Like it's not like I go out like, okay, for the next hour, I'm going to take pictures and videos. It's very much like, oh, this is just what I'm doing. So I'm just capturing it along the
But
way.
what you do with that content after the fact, though, I think is uh,
Love my
in
reels.
interesting. Well, they're great because you kind of spread that content out. You're not doing one photo dump. You're not doing
Yeah.
boom, here's my entire journey, here's my entire trip.
Hmm.
You know, sprinkle it out over the course of several months and sometimes years.
And
And
don't get me wrong, there are definitely times where like I go home and I realize I'm like, oh, I didn't shoot anything. Like I got no content from like this
mhm,
outing or whatever. And that's fine. Like I'm just doing it for fun. So sometimes I
mhm.
have to just cut my losses. I'm like, oh no, I was in the moment. Like I was enjoying
Yeah.
it. Like it's really it goes back and forth because sometimes I will try to take a bunch of videos and then other times I'm like, we don't need to document everything.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I we did an episode, maybe it was the one that I did by myself.
Posiblemente.
Um, but we chatted about making sure that you're experiencing the location, the meal, the view
Yeah.
beyond this, that you're
Because like
actually there, you're
obviously you
present.
want to show it off, you want to say look where I am, look what I'm eating, look what I'm doing, but it's also
It
super
means
important to actually recognize that beyond just snapping a few photos and everything and making sure you got the
yeah.
right angle and all of that, because like some of my best memories I don't have photos of or videos of because it was just like incredible to be there in the moment. And then there are other things like when I went surfing, I was by myself, but I asked like a rando in the group. I was like, "Can you take a picture of me in my wetsuit so I can like show people like I did actually do this?" Because there are cool stuff like that where it's like, no, I
Sure.
want to make sure I have
You want to
photographic
document
evidence.
this.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I think that's very important and I probably struggle on the opposite end of that. I always feel like a dork pulling out my phone and getting I mean,
oh, same.
you've seen what I shoot. You posted what I shot
Yeah,
and I'm probably not that great at it. Um I like to be in the moment, I think.
yeah.
or the location. I'm more
Which is a good
comforted
thing.
there than comforted like this,
Yeah,
trying to document it.
because even I get awkward too, especially when it's just like me and my friends and nobody else cares, and I'm just like slowly just like
Yeah.
taking a video of everyone, and they're like,
so there's one thing I have noticed that I fail to do, and I know at some point I will regret it. So I'm going to make a conscious effort to not do this moving forward. And that's just take so many scenic pictures. I take a lot of notes.
You never take photos of yourself.
Never. I have one photo of myself from vacation, and it's actually like a 5-second video of me riding a bike. And that's it.
Yeah.
But
you gotta work on your content game. And then I think the outro, we can each record our own version, and we could just tack it on to like every episode of like, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow us to see when the next one drops or something like that. I'm
all about that. I am going to keep the awkward outros we have in for, I think, probably 4 of these. Well, yeah, because I kind of like how they awkwardly end sometimes. Wait, so are we done?
Is that it?
Is it?
Okay.
Are we over?
Are we still recording?
I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
so
I'm fine with that.
Those in, because I feel like this podcast is just
all turbulence. It's actually all turbulence. You know, the worst
there is zero smooth sailing.
Yeah, it's like that. You know, when you're saying your Hail Marys during takeoff? Yeah, get ready. Strap in.